everyone. Today is World Stroke Day, a day set aside to raise awareness on the serious nature and high rates of stroke, prevention and treatment. Stroke, according to medical experts, happens when the blood supply to human brain is cut off, resulting in temporary or permanent damage to brain cells. Available statistics reveal that brain stroke is the second leading cause of death and the third leading cause of disability in the world. The theme for this year's commemoration is Save Precious Time, to promote the World Stroke Day awareness and support campaign to encourage and educate people. The theme also focuses on the importance of understanding stroke signs and symptoms, as well as the need for early diagnosis to prevent complications. Well, let's talk to physiotherapist Dr. Oladejo Korede, who joins us virtually from Lagos. Dr. Korede, for every minute someone has a stroke, we're told some 1.9 million brain cells are lost. It means that time equals brain cells, so to speak. And perhaps the quicker a person gets treated for stroke, the more likely the brain gets to recover. Speak to us about the accessibility to treatment where stroke is concerned in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much. In Nigeria, the accessibility, of course, is still a bit porous, but we are actually getting there. Most of the time, when a stroke happens to an individual, there is either a blockage of the artery supplying the brain, or there is a cut or a burst that leads to a pressure on the brain. And whichever the case may be, it's actually fatal. It's a medical emergency, which such an individual needs to be rushed to the nearest hospital that is taking care of neurological cases.
What then are the signs that viewers have to look out for if we're going to detect stroke early? And what kind of lifestyle would you recommend to avoid in this regard?
All right, thank you. Well, and as the theme of this year, Save Precious Life, so which also means that you need to be fast. That's actually the acronym for and the earliest way of detecting if somebody has suffered stroke. So the first acronym letter in the acronym, which is B, represents when there is a loss of balance. So it might just be a loss of balance for an individual that will make you to suspect maybe there is a possibility of such an individual having a stroke. And it could also be a case of the person is unable to either open or close the eye properly, which is because of the fact that there's an affection of the module that is supplying the eye modules. So if somebody notices that you're unable to close the eye, or you see a facial deviation to one side of the body, of the mouth, then you might be suspecting that such an individual also have stroke. And it could also be a one-sided paralysis of either the right or the left side of the body, which means that it will affect the right hand and the right leg, or the right and left leg or the right hand, respectively. So, and if such an individual suspects something like that also, it actually needs to be taken as serious as possible. Another symptoms that you might also actually be thinking about is when you notice that the person is having a slow speech too. Because for the slow speech is another thing. And once you notice that, so immediately you need to rush such an individual to the hospital. And that's the reason why we say that each second counts. Because the more you waste or delay in taking the person to the hospital, the chances of recovery for such an individual is dropping. And the earlier you intervene, the faster or the prognosis for such an individual becoming improved.
Well, stroke is now said to be the second leading cause of death globally. As a matter of fact, it's so common, they say someone has stroke every 40 seconds, and over 30 million people would have their first stroke each year. Why is it so common? What do you consider to be the lifestyle that is causing this disease?
Yes, in Nigeria alone, every year we have about 100,000 new cases of stroke being diagnosed. And majority of the reasons why many of us many people from ages of 55 years and above have the tendency of developing stroke is the fact that some pick up a sedentary lifestyle. And it's always a case of moving from one and sitting. The nature of the job will require the person not moving around. Many of the time also, we are accustomed to, we are moving to maybe 1 kilometer distance. We either drive down or pick a bus rather than walking a considerable distance. That's instead of doing that. So majority of the time, you see that many people they live a sedentary lifestyle, and also by the advent of all these fast foods that are being sold here and there, you see people coming down with obesity, which is also one of the predisposing factors to having stroke. Then also some people that smoke too. Research has also linked smoking to increasing the prevalence of stroke too, and so many other things. The fact that you are also a man, the fact that you're a man also increases the chances of having stroke. Of course, as I said earlier on, 55 years old and above, but recently we see people coming that are maybe 30 years and above coming out coming down with stroke, but statistically from 55 years old and above.
We seem to have a list of lifestyle to watch out for. Dr. Oladejo Korede is the director, Cape Ward Physiotherapy and Co. Thank you so much for talking to us on the news tonight.